UFC 316 is live in New Jersey this Saturday, but I'm not hopping in here today to talk about UFC 316. I'm here to talk about a little something else today. You see, two fight cards ago, right, as you can see on screen here, Alexander the Great Volkanovski regained his featherweight title, right? He beat Diego Lopez, and he beat him definitively. He beat him very impressively. I was a guy, I thought that Diego Lopez was going to win that fight, but I was wrong. Two fight cards ago, Alex regained the title. And I was curious as to where the division was going to go. I was curious as to what the rankings were going to look like because at that point, Ilya had left the rankings, Max had left the rankings. Both guys had said they'd be moving up to lightweight, right? Obviously Ilya vacated his title. Max had beaten Justin at UFC 300, and after losing his title match to Ilya Topuria, he decided to move up to lightweight. Came out about that, was very, very public about it. So when Alexander Volkanovski beat Diego Lopez, I was very, very curious to see what the featherweight rankings would end up looking like. The rankings I have on screen here are wrong. These these are abysmal. These are so disappointing and just horrible. And that's kind of why I'm recording this video today, is because I just want to go through. I just want to see I just want to go through each one by one, kind of reorganize them into how I think that they should be ranked, kind of critique it, give my opinion, give my take on each of these here. And so we're going to start off here, right? What happens when a champion loses his belt? What happens when a champion vacates his belt, right? Do you think when John Jones, Mr. Jones, had to vacate his light heavyweight title, do you think he dropped down to number three in the rankings of his division? Do you think that John Jones, when he decided to move up to heavyweight, was still in number three of his ranking? No. No, he was not. Right? Now, obviously, I don't like John Jones, but it is a pretty good case in point here as to show why Ilia Topuria should not be ranked at number three at featherweight. In fact, he shouldn't even be ranked at all. He shouldn't be in this list. He should not be here. But you know what? If you're still going to include him, he should be number one. Why? Because he was the previous champion that beat both Volkanovski and Max Holloway, who's ranked at number one. Now, the last win that Max Holloway has at featherweight was retiring TKZ back in, what, 2023? Almost 2 years ago? And I understand that Max went to a trilogy with Volk, and I get that, and I understand that, but at the same time, like, what is he doing ranked to number one, right? Realistically, both these gentlemen should not be ranked at featherweight. It makes no sense. It makes no sense as to why they're ranked here, right? Moving down the list here, we have Diego Lopez. Now, obviously, Lopez, recently fought for the vacant title against Volk and lost. So obviously, having him up here makes sense, right? But there's one small issue with his placing here, and that's the fact that he lost already to Movsar Evloev. Movsar Evloev is undefeated in the UFC. He's 18-0, I believe, not just in the UFC, but in his entire career. He's undefeated, and he's beaten a guy that just fought for a title. Now, I can't count, but why why are they both ranked number four? Why is there no five? When you look at the history of Yair Rodriguez, right? And if you watch my shorts, you know how I feel about Yair, right? I don't think that Yair's a bad fighter. I still think he's top 10 worthy in the UFC, but getting a decision win over Josh Emmett to get an interim belt, okay. But then going on to lose to Volk, and then going on to lose to Brian Ortega, who you know, got arguably 30-26th by Diego Lopez. Patricio Pitbull potentially could have taken a round off of Yair, right? The guy who's washed, making his debut in the UFC. He's old. And we're putting him at the same ranking as Movsar? Really? The same one? You couldn't put Movzar at number 4 and yeah, you're at number 5? You really gotta give you just and you know what? I have a feeling as to what this is coming to. It might be different given the fact that USA Noche is not taking place in Guadalajara or however you pronounce it. It's not there anymore. It's now taking place actually I think in Texas, which is interesting. Correct me, I could be wrong on that one, but it is taking place in the States now. So maybe that fight's not going to happen, but it's just like if we look at all the like you there's no other division that has two guys ranked at the same place. It's the entire fucking reason for rankings is to show you who's ranked where. That's the whole point of the ranking system is so you have guys above each other. So why Yair and Mavs are both ranked number 4 makes no sense, right? So up until this point, what I would have for this division is I would have Mavs at number 1. I'd have Diego at number 2. I'd keep Diego at number 2, right? Um, but fucking get Yair out of the top 5. You know, if you're gonna keep him at 5, that's generous. That's generous. You know, because bear in mind, Brian Ortega has fallen all the way down to 7, right? After he lost to Diego Lopez, you can't put him in the top. He lost to a guy that just fought for the title. What has Yair done to earn this spot compared to Brian Ortega? Brian Ortega beat him. He submitted him. He submitted him. Anyways, um, it just like it's just such a disaster. It's so messy, and what I'm wondering is when is this gonna get? Is this gonna get fixed? I mean, what's gonna happen? Like, is Volk gonna fight Yair in? You know, if that fight happens and Volk wins, then do we take them out of the division? Fucking 6 months later, what's the purpose of that, right? Why even have this right now? Because and I understand that both guys haven't fought at lightweight yet, and maybe when they do fight at lightweight, maybe that's when it will change. But even then, it's just looking at this man, like, come on. Makes no sense. I mean, Max was ranked at lightweight. Who actually, Max is still currently ranked at lightweight. I think he's in the top 5, number 4 at lightweight. He's going up against Dustin Poirier in his retirement matchup. But I understand that Ilya's not ranked at lightweight because he hasn't fought at lightweight yet. Other than against Jai Herbert, which happened years ago, he hasn't fought anyone noteworthy. He's going up against Charles Oliveira. It doesn't make any sense here. And I don't know what the UFC is doing with this. I honestly I think what might end up happening here is after UFC 317, I think that Ilya and Max are going to get taken out of the rankings. Everybody's going to get boosted up, and I think they're going to put Yair at. I honestly think they're probably going to put Yair at number 2, is what they might do, and then they might have Alexander Volkanovski versus number 2 ranked Yair Rodriguez, which is insane to say in the big 2025. I thought that Aljo beat him too, man. I thought Arnold Allen beat him. Like I think. Oh, sorry, that's for Mobzar. I'm saying not for Yair. But even then, I just saw the names and I was like, fuck, even Mobzar. Like I don't think he. I think Mobzar's kind of a fraud, but he is the most deserving of a title shot objectively. And I understand that in some of my comments, people think I'm like a Dagestani Glazer because I'll hype up Marab. I think Marab's a bantamweight goat. I'm not a Dagestani Glazer. Trust me. I think Mobzar is a bit of a fraud, but I think you can take a look at things objectively and say that he is the most qualified for a title shot. But anyways, I'm gonna stop by rambling with up here. I like Arnold Allen at this place. I'd like to see him fight up the rankings. Or even then, put him against a Murphy or Ortega or Sterling. I think Arnold Allen versus Sterling would be a fantastic fight. And I think Ortega you could probably bump up because yeah, he lost to Lopez, but like I said, he beat Yair. So to be ranked all the way down here is, I still can't believe there's no number 5. Like, uh, I think you could definitely bump up Ortega for sure. Obviously Laurent Murphy, bro, undefeated prospect. It does make sense where his ranking is. I would probably even bump it up a little bit higher. Sterling, former champion. I mean, only guy he's beaten is Canner, so um, it kind of makes sense with where he's at. But I think all these guys you kind of bump up further, right, by taking Topuria and Holloway out the rankings. Jean Silva, obviously beat Bryce Mitchell. I think Bryce Mitchell should still be ranked at featherweight. If I'm being honest with you, I think, yeah, he lost to Emmett and he lost to Silva. but I think completely removing him from the rankings. And don't get me wrong, I understand that there was a few takes, a couple opinions here and there that our boy Bryce had that probably contributed to him losing his ranking spot. So I do understand that, but I would probably still keep Bryce because losing to John Silva, man. I mean, come on, like it's not like he's losing against bad competition. He still has wins against ranked opponents like Dan Ige, right? Like Bryce Mitchell doesn't have bad losses, so I think he should be in the top 15 still. I think Yusuf Zalal obviously got his win against Calvin Cater by basically running away in the third round, but still beating Calvin Cater. It's just, man, I just look at featherweight and I just think to myself, man, like what happened to this division? Like obviously we have John Silva as an exciting prospect, and hopefully he does get a fight up the rankings here pretty soon. But I don't know, man. I think there's a couple of guys that aren't ranked that should be ranked. I know that Sean Woodson lost to Dan Ige, but he's not a bad guy to throw in there. Um, Even Pat Sabatini, I think he's a guy that's very, very close in the rankings. Really only losing to Diego Lopez, notably, who once again just fought for the belt. So that's what I think about the rankings. I think they're pretty fucking shit for featherweight. I think they're pretty bad, and I hope this gets fixed at some point soon. I really hope that it does. I don't know if it will. We might just wake up one day and they'll be fixed. You know, um, but even the ranking system in the UFC hasn't always been the greatest. In some ways, keeping John Jones out of the number one pound for pound spot is correct. I don't even think he should be number two, but that's for another video. But that's pretty much all the yapping that I have for today. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with my takes, what you think about the featherweight division, how you would rank it. If there's any guys outside the rankings that you think should be ranked, give me your top five in the comment section below. Give me your top five who you think should be the top five ranked fighters in the featherweight division. Other than that, that's pretty much all I got for things here today, guys. So make sure to like and subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have fun watching UFC 316 this weekend. Let me fucking end the recording. Hello? There we go.